everybody, welcome back to my channel. Good morning, vlogsters. I don't know when you'll be seeing this, but it's morning for me because I just get up. I'm gonna have my first sip of coffee. Not quite an early bird because it is the afternoon. Actually, it's the evening. I didn't just wake up. Let me take a sip and then I'll tell you guys all of what's been going on. It is currently Saturday. You probably won't see this till Sunday morning, which that's okay. If that's okay with you, it's okay with me. We're just working on this new tripod, monopod, selfie stick situation, and just still working on it, you know. Today and yesterday were struggle bus days. Not really. Let me just tell you. Hi. How are you doing? Good. Wednesday, we went into St. Louis to help Aunt Sue out with some things. So Aunt Sue, if you're watching this, hi, I miss you. Thank you. The keto muffins were out of this world. She gave me some smart cake, cinnamon roll muffins. I had one, Jimmy had one, and we both thought they were outstanding. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Are you okay?
Yeah.
What happened?
I just dropped the work cream.
Okay. It scared me. And then Thursday was 6-month anniversary of my brother passing away. So Thursday, Jimmy was off and I wanted to like have a good day. So I kept my spirits up and I was like, yeah, it's going to be a good day. It's 6 months. It'd be like the end of an era, or I don't really know. We spent the day, we did a couple of little things around the house. Nothing worth sharing, just like laundry. Oh, actually, we didn't do laundry. We cooked. And all these different things. So we just hung out. It was so nice especially after helping Aunt Sue out on Wednesday. She bought us dinner, but I'm still not going out to restaurants and stuff. So she ordered in Panera, which was great because I hadn't had Panera in a really long time. I had the most amazing salad. Oh, it was a green goddess Cobb salad with chicken. I think that's the way they called it. It was so good. It had green goddess dressing, which is just like basically herbs, just, you know. But anyway, I didn't look to see what was keto. I just looked at the ingredients and I said, that looks like nothing bad for you. So, or bad for me anyway. So, we had a great Thursday. I got a lamp from my sisters. My sister and sister-in-law had this lamp. My sister was FaceTiming with me and she said, would you like this lamp? And I hopefully will remember to grab a shot of it and the chandeliers in the room so I could show you. She said, it really looks like it would match the chandeliers in the guest room really well. She's always funny. She's funny because she's always saying my room. So she's always calling it her room. So she's like, it'll match the chandeliers in my room. So I'm like, yeah. I was like, absolutely. So she sent it. I got it. It was nice. It shipped perfectly. The last time she sent me a box, it had fragile written on it and it was like crushed and things were missing. This time she didn't put fragile on it and it came all in one piece. So it was great. Technically it came in all the 37,000 pieces that it came in because it's a chandelier with like crystal beads and stuff. But anyway, I just thought that was pretty cool. And then Friday, Jimmy started working. He's got 5 days in a row. He's going to be working mornings. There's a lot of changes happening at his job, which hopefully they're just going to continue to be good changes. But I got up early with him when he went to work. And I drank my water and I sat in bed and I was waking up. I was waking up to watching videos and I started like totally, not obsessing, that's not even right, but I've totally got into this. There's a channel and a vlog called Delish, and Delish has a cook contributor. Her name is June, and June does like, oh, this one was 11 meals for $25 or $20 it was actually. And I'm always so curious because June lives in New York City. But what June has in New York City that we don't have is like dollar bins. But we do have, sometimes you can get like expired produce and stuff that's ready to go. You can like get them here, but usually you have to get up really early in the morning and get like first come, first serve situation. Which isn't always the case we can do. It's not something we can always do, let's put it that way. But anyway, so she does these amazing like meals over these like one day, yesterday I watched her make spleen. She did keto meals for $25. She did 10 keto meals for $25 or a week's worth. And she cooked spleen and I was like, what is spleen taste like? And she read an article of what that person said spleen tasted like. But then she actually sampled it because she took like the fatty thing off of it and cut a strip and then sauteed it for her and her husband. I think he's her husband. I think he's her husband. Yeah, he is. I'm trying to think if they ever said it, but yeah, they did. But she said it tasted really good, like liver, but not as dry. So that was pretty exciting to me because I like the way the liver tastes. I just don't really care for the texture, even when you cook it moist. Even when you cook it medium well, it still has a very dry texture. And organ meats are good for you. And organ meats are one of the things on keto that you should probably try to get in because you're missing so much of nutrition, like from some of the vegetables you aren't supposed to have. Let's put it that way. But I am not having that problem. My biggest problem is the electrolytes. My energy is like, but I think that's more menopause, depression, then keto, in that order. But anyway, so I was watching that and all of a sudden, like, I woke up 2 hours later. Like, I don't even remember falling asleep. I was just watching it and I was out. So then I woke up 1:30. And I don't know if I even told you guys this, but I play this game, that Harry Potter game. It's called Harry Potter Gems and Puzzles. And I've been playing it since it first came out, way before everything went down. And I started my own club, basically. So you basically start your own like gaming room and people can come in, up to 30 people can come in and they can play too. But because I started it, every day they have a daily club event. And over the course of this time, we've gotten together and decided the schedule of when to start it. And we started every day at 2 o'clock here, which is 3 o'clock on the East Coast. And I started every day. So I have my alarm set. So I knew that no matter what, I knew that the alarm would get me up at 1:45, 1:42 or whatever. That's when I have the first one go off. But I was up at 1:20 something and I knew my alarm was going to go off soon. So I sat up, I took my blood sugar, I took my medicine, which I probably should have done earlier. If I had done that earlier, the energy from the medicine might have actually helped. But what happens sometimes is I'm laying there and the alarm goes off for the 45 minutes. Like I told you guys, I drink water and then wait 45 minutes. Sometimes when the alarm goes off, I'm like, there's no way I'm even sitting up. I can't see straight to do my blood. Like I would stab myself and then like where would the blood be? It's just too much. So I just ended up laying in bed. I didn't go get coffee. I didn't go get breakfast. I got up and went to the bathroom. Jimmy came home and he's like, I'm worried about you. I'm like, honestly, the weather is crappy out. It is literally crappy weather out. It's going to be like rain and cloudy skies for like 5 days. Other than sitting on a recliner with a TV, like I'm sitting in bed watching TV. There's no difference for me being in my room than me being in the living room. Other than I didn't, like when I'm in the living room, I will go get my coffee and get something to eat, but I wasn't hungry. I mean, I could have used coffee, but I wasn't hungry. So I was like, just hang out or whatever. So I realized when he came home and he started asking me all these questions that I was kind of depressed. I kind of was making up for the 6-month anniversary where I was trying to be so chipper. I didn't actually allow myself to process it. It says, you know, my niece said it probably the best. She sees, it seems like forever ago and yesterday all in the same time. And I agree 100%. I mean, I feel that way about when both of my parents passed away. In fact, my nan, I can remember the entire course of events of the day when my nan passed away. Um, it's just, my nan lived with me, and there's a whole, I'll tell you that. If you guys are interested, let me know. I'll tell you that story someday. But anyway, excuse me. Sorry, I did a postnasal drip thing and it made me cough. Which is, by the way, how I got out of school so many days when I was younger. Anyhow. And yesterday Jim worked till 6. He was supposed to work till 7. And we were, didn't make plans for dinner. And so he was coming home, and I've told you guys before, part of our rent is like food budget. And in that food budget, because mom's used to a certain lifestyle or whatever, that we do like order in part of the food budget. Part of our rent is to order in. I know that sounds silly, but that's what we do. So I just was like, I asked him, did he want to bring home dinner? Because we haven't had, he works at Dickie's Barbecue Pit, and we haven't had that in a while because, you know, he works and he eats it all the time. I feel like I've told you this before. He used to do that when he worked at the deli all the time. I like never got cold cuts. But I texted him. I was like, do you want to bring home some dinner, or would you rather get like Chinese food? And he was like, oh, Chinese food. I want General Tso's chicken. Like, I went on to this whole thing. So mom likes the Chinese food. So I texted her, and she was like, yeah. So I ordered it from my bed. I was just laying there. Thank God for iPhones. It stores all your information with the look of your face, with your retina, you know. I got up, and he's like, you coming out? And I was like, yeah, I'll come out. So I came out, sat in the chair. I was like, can I just eat here, though? Because I'm kind of like, you know, wasn't hungry. I still wasn't hungry. I just knew I had to eat. I was supposed to eat with my medicine, but when you just don't feel it, you just don't feel it. So, I guess now it's about 7. The guy comes with the food probably like 7:30, 7:15, 7:20. And they were having trouble trying to figure out what everybody's food was. Now, this restaurant used to give you a clamshell with the 3 divided clamshells. If you guys know what I'm talking about, there's a clamshell that's got 3 sections. A clamshell is that styrofoam container. They used to give you a clamshell. When you ordered a small, you would get, the big section would have your meal. The small 2 sections mostly would have like fried rice, and then they give you like a spring roll or a crab rangoon or a fried wonton, or you can now, like for 50 cents more, you can get an egg roll. And they give you that all on that same dish. So, but when you order a large, they fill the clamshell with the main dish and then put your rice and your little side into a smaller clamshell that's just 1 section. Well, they started using plastic containers like New York, which I don't mind. I just was confused. So in 1 plastic container was just a small, I got beef and broccoli because I love it. So I love everything really, to be honest with you. I'm not lying. In 1 container was like a beef and broccoli meal. It's like fried rice. Now I told Jimmy too, I ordered the large for myself because they put the rice separate and you can eat the rice whenever. And I'll just have this over the course of 2 meals. Usually when we buy the Chinese food, we all have it for 2 days. We'll eat half on dinner, and then we'll eat half the next day or the day after. So I was like, oh, I'll just have half of the beef and broccoli. You guys can have the rice. Well, Mom, you can have the rice. Mom only likes white rice. And I was like, and I'll just save the other half for tomorrow and the next day or whatever. Well, they made my regular dish just like Jimmy's regular dish, half rice, half beef and broccoli. And then they put a smaller clamshell full of beef and broccoli on the side. So it was confusing to him. He was like, I don't know what you ordered, what all this is. And I ordered like wings, which are different than wings in New York. Wings in New York, they're attached and you get like the whole wing, or you used to anyway. And they coat them in Chinese mustard and then deep fry them. Here, they just like season them a little bit and they actually do like the wing portions. So we got egg drop soup. I got fried wings. And the fried wings are coated in bread. So That's weird. I'm getting a phone call and it wasn't, oops, sorry. It wasn't turning the camera off, which was weird. Anyway, so the wings are coated usually in cornstarch or something. It depends on the restaurant, of course. But they might have had breading on, like a coating on them, but that's okay. That's just a minimal amount of carbs, and I'm not worried about it, especially since it was all I ate all day. So I ate the beef and broccoli that was in the clamshell. So I have a whole like thing left over. But I was just like, we didn't plan it. We knew we had the money or whatever to in the house account to get it. So we haven't ordered in a bit. So I just like hung out. I said to Jimmy, I came and sat on the couch. And I'm like, I feels like it's almost time to go back to bed. So we watched a little bit of television or movies. We started watching Mission Impossible movies. So we watched the Mission Impossible 1 and 2. And then he had to get up early this morning. So we just went to bed early. I asked him, I'm like, do you want to play games instead of watching the second movie? He's like, no, I just want to go to bed early. I'm like, okay. So we watched those and then we got into bed. We went back to bed and I actually fell asleep pretty early for me. Usually I try to close my eyes at around 2:30. I mean, it depends really on my day. But yesterday it was like 1:30 and I was like, okay, I'm ready to close my eyes and go back to sleep, which was surprising because I did sleep a lot the day before. I want to start keeping a sleep chart. I suggested it to Mom. Mom's like, I'm having trouble sleeping at night. I'm like, well, you're napping a lot during the day because that will throw your sleep off, So I said you should keep a sleep log, and I realized I should probably be doing that myself just to really try to log the guesstimation of what time I fell asleep to what time I woke up type of thing. So I'm just going to swipe this away because it's annoying me. Thanks. There is like a light that tells you when the camera's on, and with the notification goes over the light and you're like, I can't see what I'm supposed to be seeing. Make sure it goes off, whatever. But anyhow, I'm shaky. So this morning wasn't very different. This morning I woke up with Jimmy at 8:30. I was up for a few hours, and the difference today was I actually did say, I'm just gonna close my eyes. I'm not gonna go to sleep. Yeah, we knew that wasn't gonna happen. And I woke up at 12:30, which wasn't as long, so that was good. But then I just laid in bed. I said to him, I'm like, what's the difference if I sit in the living room or if I lay in bed? My bed is comfortable. I'm warm. I can play on my phone. I can sit up. I can lay down. When I sit on the couch all day, sometimes it hurts my tailbone or my butt cheeks. If I just like sitting in one position for too long, I like the bed because I can lay on one side and lay on the other side and that kind of thing. So, I'm like, what's the difference? And he's like, yeah, I understand. But he just thinks about like depression and staying in bed all day kind of thing. And I'm not hungry. Like, I'm grateful to have my coffee right now because I love the way coffee tastes. But I'm not hungry, which is unusually not like me. I don't know if it's like a digestive system issue or hormones or menopause or depression, or maybe I'm finally full. Who knows? That's a Friends joke if you get it. So, yeah, so I feel like I feel like I never know how I'm going to feel. I know. Bear with me. I've told you guys that if my brain stays occupied, excuse me, even if it's with nonsense, I don't get as sad. And that's the truth. My brain, full of, perfect example. What's a perfect example of how my brain, so I multitask on my devices. That's how I keep 2 of the reels going. Okay, so if you're new to my channel, hi. I believe from what they're finding out now about misdiagnosis of ADD in women and girls, I believe that I have a ADD disorder. So like I've had like done the home test, sort of like if you are like this, if you're like that, if you're like that. I'm like, oh, that's all sounds familiar. I'm like, you may have undiagnosed ADD, which I think that when we were growing up, a lot of it was focused on the H, like when kids couldn't sit down. And I did go through that when I was in like second grade, but that was mostly out of boredom because the kids in second grade were like, I was like, I got that 2 + 2 = 4. What is taking you so long to get that? Look, hold up your fingers. Look, now count them. It's like, it was just boredom of like, whatever. Okay. But I've always described it as, and I think you've probably heard this before if you've been around for a while. So I've always described it as I have like a 3-reel recorder in my brain, like a 3-reel recorder. And to concentrate on something, I have to have 2 of the reels engaged in the thing and the 3rd reel engaged in something nonsensical to me. So like a TV show I've seen 1,000 times, music definitely helps, but it has to be music that I know, like the best of the 80s, like kind of situation, or best of the 90s kind of situation. So it has to be engaged in something or it wanders and then I can't concentrate on the thing. So I use as an example all the time when I describe this to people is when I used to write reports at work. When I worked at AHRC, I used to write monthly reports. I used to have to take all of the coach's notes or the staff's notes, and I'd have to compile sort of like a synopsis of how the person did over the course of the month. And then I would have to write it and type it. So I took typing when I was in 8th grade, but I really never learned home row. I'm not a good typist. I'm sort of a look while I type, check for mistakes later. I mean, I'm admittedly so. So when I was writing reports at work, I used to have the room empty, music on, and in New York it was KJoy. That KJoy was like the best of the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and today, or depending what decade you were listening to it, that depends on what musics they were playing. But I would like put KJoy in the background and I would be able to read with 1 reel of my brain while I wrote with the 2nd reel of my brain, while the 3rd reel of my brain was on something else. Okay. That whole piece of background story, and I'm sorry if I repeated myself 1,000 times, and you've heard this too many times before. When I'm dealing with what I'm dealing with right now, thinking about my brother constantly, I have got to engage all of my reels. Now, I cannot find any tiny bit of creative juices to create anything. My heart and spirit are not there. After the hurricane, it was 5, 6, 7. It was about 7 months when we started doing art therapy, or maybe it was even just 6.5 months, because it was the middle of April, the beginning of May. We started doing like art therapy to recover from the losses and stuff. And the hurricane was like October 29th. So it was like that long of therapy where I finally felt like, okay, now art therapy will work for me. Now that was, of course, was a different type of loss, totally different than this. But I find like zero desire to create. I shouldn't say desire. I see people creating and I have a desire to create. I have no ambition, will, concentration even to create. So I'm keeping the 3 reels going. I have to keep the 3 reels going. Okay, so I might be playing a game on my tablet while I watch a new movie. Now, when I watch a new movie, that engages 2 reels because I have to concentrate. I have to like watch and I have to listen. That's because it's like a new movie that I've never seen before. I have to pay attention. A lot of times I have to like read subtitles, which are really big on my camera. Like sometimes I have to rewind it because the subtitles covered something, whatever. It's just a whole thing. But I'll do that while I have to engage that 3rd brain, that 3rd reel. I play mindless games on my phone, or mindless games on my tablet, or color even on my tablet. I know coloring on my tablet seems like it could be creative, but it really isn't. It's really just mindless because it's color by number. So it's like finding the number and then organizing a thought and all this stuff. So the other day, Jimmy was in hiatus of whether or not he was ready to start a movie. And it took just 5 minutes. Like, it took 5 minutes. And in that 5 minutes, I went to severely depressed because I only had my mindless coloring going on because I was waiting to start the new movie. I know that sounds silly, or maybe it doesn't sound silly. Maybe you get it. Maybe you 100% get exactly what I'm talking about. But it's just how it is. It's just how it is for me right now. I want to be creating. My heart wants to engage with you guys. I want to share with you guys. I do want to teach you. I just can't create right now. It's such a weird dichotomy, almost like duplicity. I've tried. I've told you I have had a project sitting here for months, like half done. If I just have to finish it, type of situation. And then then I go, okay, about this video, what do I want to do for the video? So do I want to do, like, add that to other video? Like, what do I want to do? It's hard to really come up with it, which stinks because my family financially is hurting, but the second half of the second stimulus package is coming out, so that'll help out a little bit for a couple of months. But it's really, I don't know. It's really difficult. It's really unlike anything that I have gone through before, and unlike anything I can describe. I know that so many people are in so many worse situations. I've said that before. I also don't want you guys to think that if your situation is devastating to you and it's not the loss of a sibling or a child or a parent, then you should feel any less about your things. Obviously, everybody goes through their own thing. Everybody has their own level of grief tolerance, of recovery. I understand that. So we're not comparing each other when it's not a contest. But I do know that so many more people have it so worse. And I have to keep telling myself that because that is what has always helped me find joy in my life. So growing up with very little means, my parents always encouraged me, or my mother especially encouraged me to remind me that there are always people who have less. You see us help out our friends that have less. I have a car, I'm grateful I have a car. I have a home, I'm grateful I have a home. That's what she would teach us. She's like, well, the electricity might get cut off, or the water might get cut off, or it might be, food insecure from time to time. But we still have a home, and I still have a car, and I still have a job, and she could work. So these were things that taught me to appreciate the small things, to celebrate the small things, to celebrate that this is their last creamer. Jimmy just told me he used the rest of my creamer, but I have coffee. I have half and half, and I have Splenda or sweetener or vanilla syrup, or I have choices. I have alternatives. I have something. I could get melancholy that I have no creamer, or I could just be like, hey, you know what though? At least I have coffee. And that is how I've always lived my life. And I try that every day. I think I mentioned it in a blog or something recently where I say, at the end of the day, I lay my head down at night, and if I can't think of the joyful thing, I force myself to find the joyful thing. Some days it's many joyful things. Wednesday night, there was many joyful things. I got to have a nice car ride to the city with my husband. I did it. I got out of the house. I kept safe, wore my mask. I was able to get Dunkin' Donuts coffee, sugar-free toasted almond this time. I had Panera. I got to see Aunt Sue and know that she's okay and help her out with some things, and know that some of the things that she needed help with were easily resolved, and that now that I know what the problems are, I can sometimes help her without having to drive all the way out there. She doesn't have to wait quite as long. like just all of these things. I'm so joyful. And the end of the day, my husband stayed awake on the ride home and we talked, and I was like, just talk to me. And he's like, what do you want me to talk about? Then he started talking about like, what do you want to do tomorrow? And I'm like, Jim, we've been married 20 years. We've been together 21 years. Talk about something that's not plans, like we're like discussing the weather or whatever. And we did a lot of like heartfelt soul searching, which was really nice. We had a really nice talk, and he stayed awake the whole way. And then which was really nice. And we didn't go to the Dollar Tree, which was disappointing because I was looking forward to it, but he had gotten pretty tired. I needed tissues, so then he went out Thursday and got tissues. So Thursday we hung out and we were just hanging out, and I ended up falling asleep apparently watching TV with him. And you know, I didn't nap on Wednesday, and I got up early and I went to bed regular time. Went to bed regular, like medium, extra large, regular. No, I went to bed at my regular time on Wednesday night, which Thursday morning, and then I ended up napping in the middle of the day. And when I woke up, he was like just coming home, and I was like, where'd you go? I was like, I ran out to get you your tissues and to get this, that, and the other thing. And I was like, thank you. It was very sweet. I pulled out the last pack of pulled pork from the freezer. If you guys don't know, I have a recipe on my channel. It's Martha Stewart's recipe. It's out of this world. It is 6-hour braised pulled pork. Basically, you make it in a pot in the oven. And it is so amazing. I've not had one person not go gaga over it. The last 2 times I made it, I switched the sweetener, the brown sugar, to Swerve brown sugar. So it's also carb friendly because the Swerve brown sugar is better than regular brown sugar, obviously. The rest of it's just spices. There's no like starches in there or whatever. And what I do is we make like a big one, and then we have it for dinner. I fill a leftovers container, and then I usually get 4 portions out of it. 4 portions. Each portion is 2 meals for my 3-member family, if that makes any sense. So I filled, if we didn't eat it right away, I'd be able to fill 4 gallon-sized Ziploc bags, and then each one of those gallon-sized Ziploc bags will feed my family for 2 nights each. So that's what I'm trying to say. Each of my family members for 2 nights. So 3, 6, I get 24 portions out of that, and healthy portions, not like me. We get good size amounts. So to me, it's totally worth it, because then you have a night like Thursday where it's pull it out, it's frozen. You can leave it on the counter to defrost for a little while, or you can heat it frozen. You just add a little water, you cook it down, you heat it through, and once the water's cooked off, then you're back to square one. When I freeze it, there's usually like some fatty juices on the bottom. Well, I skim the fat, so there's usually the juices at the bottom, which is really just fat and water and flavor. I usually divide it amongst the frozen bags so that they each have their own little fatty juices for when I go to reheat it. So you just reheat it, serve it with buns and barbecue sauce or whatever, and that's it. I had mine over cauliflower rice, which I really like, enjoy, and I think that's what I'm going to have today for leftovers. Yeah. And Thursday was just like, let's do this. And usually when I do the pulled pork heat, I toast everybody's buns. Basically, I butter buns, and I toast them on both sides because it's just better that way. The barbecue sauce doesn't make the buns super wet. The buns stay, like whatever. So anyway, Jimmy had a great idea since I was tired and wasn't feeling well that I could do it at the table. So he brought me the electric griddle and the meat and the water and the lid and the buns and the bread, and I did it at the table. I made my coleslaw too. So I wanted coleslaw, and he's like, I said, oh, I have cabbage. I could just make coleslaw. And then I fell asleep before I got the chance to make it, because it's better, like coleslaw is always better when you like let it sit. Then I found a recipe for 5-minute coleslaw. And so basically it's good. You can have it right away. and it had sugar in it, so I put put Swerve in it, which is erythritol, and it was delicious, actually, and I'm looking forward to having that with my leftover pulled pork. But they all have chips with their sandwiches. They just do sandwiches and chips. I do sandwiches and coleslaw. Jimmy had coleslaw. Take that back. Because he likes coleslaw. So. And he really liked the homemade one, too. It was really good. So, anyhow, that was like, I think maybe, hey, maybe I'm still tired and not feeling good from Wednesday. Maybe I just did a lot Wednesday. And it's taking me this long to recover. I don't know. It could be. It could be. It could be gloomy skies. It could be gloomy gray skies. Doctor said she wants me to sit outside every day for 10 minutes, but I've been a good girl in doing it every day that the sun is out. Or that it's not rainy, cold, and gloomy like this. And I, of course, didn't go out the days that it was 0 degrees or minus 19. But I've been enjoying the sunshine. I keep my curtains open normally so that the sun flows through my house. I've been trying. I've been doing. I have a smile often, more often than 5 months ago, more often than 4 months ago. But it's still missing a lot. It's still not there as often as it used to be. But I'm grateful when it's there. I'm grateful when I get the chance to talk to my sisters. I'm grateful for the opportunity to message back and forth with you guys. I'm grateful when I get to talk to my friends. I just am. I love you guys. I would like to really thank you again for all of your support. Jimmy and I were talking about doing a live stream, but we've been talking about it. Like he says he wants to do it, and I'm like, sure, well, whenever you want. And then it gets to be like about that time at night, and he's like, no, we have to do dinner, or then we're like, oh, let's do it after dinner. And then it's like HQ's after dinner, let's do it after HQ. And he's like, no, I'm tired. Like, so if we do it, obviously I'll let you guys, you'll get your notifications if you got your notifications turned on. But that's it. I love you. Remember that, no matter what. Okay? And as always, you guys take care. God bless you next time. Bye.